So we are going to put together this one pager that has a pull quote with a text wrap around it. And you could see that this is in layers because we have the logo in the front and a header. So the logo is actually, if I double click on here on the master page, right? So it will actually show up on every single page if I wanted to after that. However, I had to put it on the layer that's at the very most top. So in order to see it in front of the actual image itself, okay? So if I go back to my actual page number one, you could see that that's on top of the image. And here's my header as well. Okay, so we're going to create that by going into this file here. And you were provided a couple of files. So we have the logo. So the logo is actually already imported for us. So it's already in the master, but we'll have to put it on the proper layer after. The only thing that we're actually going to do is create the pull quote and add a text wrap around it. Okay, so your pull quote is in this Word doc, and you're just going to take this and copy and paste what it says. Don't worry about the fonts. You're going to change it as well. So I use the font. It doesn't matter what you use, but it looks kind of nice if you kind of bold the font. So I used Avenir. So before I do anything, here's a little trick. Now I'm going to turn this off, which is my baseline grid. So if you see this grid on your page, just go to View and hide your baseline grid. You don't need that, okay? So you're going to take your text box and do a few things. Now, if I want to draw a text box, I can't do it inside the actual document. So I have to take this tool and draw it outside here. Okay. And then I'm going to paste Command V, the text. Now it's in this pink because it's probably saying something like the font, there's something wrong with it, but don't worry about it because we're going to change it, right? So if you highlight your text and change it to something that's, kind of modern. So I used Avenir Black. Okay. And this might be too big, so I'm going to scale it down a bit. So you have your fonts, you can scale it down, or Command Shift, comma will scale it down. Now I'm going to scale it down a little bit more. Okay. So we want to center it. Okay. And we're also going to flip the color. So here I am selected on this box with the black arrow. And in the swatch panel, I'm going to change the box. See how there's a box here and text here? So if you want to change shapes, the colors, you will click on the shape. If you want to change the text color, you will click on the actual T. So right now, I'm going to change the actual box, and now I cannot see my text. But now I can click on the T and click on paper, which stands for white. Okay, a couple other things before we continue. Now, do you notice how it's not evenly balanced within that box? So what I'm going to do is create inset spacing. I could probably bring this up a bit, but I'm going to create inset spacing, which is by right-clicking, going into my text frame options, and we are going to go right here. This is linked. Make sure it's linked so it's even on all sides. If I click into it, do you already see that it pushed down everything almost like a margin? So I want to click a little more, and this is already looking much better, okay? And that's it. Here's another thing you can also use. Right now it's at the top, and you can also center it, but I think for now, just the inset spacing kind of already fixed the problem, and it's looking even on all the sides. So I'm going to press OK. I'm going to take this and drag it right in the middle here because that's where I want it to go. And then we're going to add a text wrap around it. Okay, so we're going to go to Window, Text Wrap. Here's a shortcut. Okay, so Option, Command W. And here's this little panel. So you can kind of see here shapes, different shapes that you could do. This is a rectangle. If you had a circle, you could use this one, but this is a rectangle. We're going to click on that one. And it automatically pushed things. However, this might not be enough space. You might want more. And I would suggest using the actual increments that are here, and it's already linked together. So top, bottom, left, and right. So if I click up one time, two times, you see how it pushes it down a little bit more, right? So that's pretty much how you would do that. I'm just gonna, maybe that's too much. I could probably bring this down a bit more. Yeah, and then just bring this down a little bit. Okay, so when I have that, maybe my image now it's a little too high. I probably will have to fix that a little bit and probably have to scale it a little bit within using the white arrow. So just kind of go through that. The next thing you're going to do is now you're going to have to adjust and organize your layers. Everything is on layer one. So all your text in one layer, your image in one layer, and your master page, logo, and header will go on another layer, okay? So I'm gonna take all the text, so this is one text box, two text box, okay? Hold down the shift click on both. I'm gonna create a new text box and I'm gonna drag that right in here, layer two, and I'm gonna call it text. Okay, now if I want to make sure that it's there, turn it off. And now, yes, that's correct. Layer one will probably be, I'm going to call this, I want layer one to be the image. And the last thing we have to do, we can't see it here. We're going to have to go into the master page. There's actually text here. So I'm going to highlight this whole top here. It selects both. Go back to my layers. And you see it selected here. I'm going to create a new layer and we're going to have to put it at the very top. I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to call this master. And I believe it should show through on top of the image as long as it's on top of the image. Now, if I go back to my actual page, there it is.